Alright, we're going to jump into the living word. We are at 33, 36, 33 in Genesis. Now Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah, Basra, reigned as his successor. Then Jobab died, and Husham, the land of the Temanites, reigned as his successor. And Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the country of Moab, reigned as his successor. The name of his walled city was Avith. Hadad died, and Samlah the Masrekah succeeded him. Then Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth on the river Euphrates reigned as his successor. And Shaul died, and Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, reigned as his successor. Baal-Hanan, the son of Achbor, died, and then Hadar reigned as his successor. His walled city was Po. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. These are the names of the tribal chiefs of Esau, according to their families and places of residence, by their names: chiefs Timnah, Alva, Jeheth, Ahalabama, Elah, Penon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Aram. These are the tribal chiefs of Edom, that is, Esau, the father of Edomites, according to their dwelling places in the land of their possession. 37. Joseph's dream. So Jacob, Israel, lived in the land where his father Isaac had been a stranger, sojourner, a resident alien in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, when he was 17 years old, was shepherding the flock with his brothers, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. The boy was with the sons of Bilhah, Zilpah, his father's secondary wives, and Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father. Now Israel Jacob loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a distinctive multicolored tunic. His brothers saw that their father loved Joseph more than all his brothers, so they hated him and could not find it within themselves to speak to him on friendly terms. Now Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Please listen to the details of this dream which I have dreamed. We brothers were binding sheaves of grain stalks in the field, and lo, my sheaves suddenly got up and stood upright and remained standing, and behold, your sheaves stood all around my sheaf and bowed down in respect." His brothers said to him, "Are you actually going to reign over us? Are you really going to rule and govern us as your subjects?" So they hated him even more for telling them about his dreams, and for his arrogant words. But Joseph dreamed still another dream, and told his brothers as well. He said, "See here, I have again dreamed a dream, and lo, this time I saw 11 stars, and the sun and the moon bowed down in respect to me." He told it to his father as well, and his brothers, but his father rebuked him and said to him in disbelief, "What is the meaning of this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brothers actually come to bow down to the ground in respect before you?" Joseph's brothers were envious and jealous of him, but his father kept the words of Joseph in mind, wondering about their meaning. Then his brothers went to the pasture their father's flock near Shechem. Israel, Jacob, said to Joseph, "Are you not your brothers pasturing the flock at Shechem? Come, and I will send you to them." And he said, "Here I am ready to obey you." Then Jacob said to him, "Please go and see whether everything is all right with your brothers and all right with the flock. Then bring word back to me." So he sent from the Hebron valley, and he went to Shechem. Now a certain man found Joseph, and saw that he was wandering around and had lost his way in the field. So the man asked him, "What are you looking for?" He said, "I'm looking for my brothers. Please tell me where they are, pasturing our flocks." Then the man said, "They were here, but they had moved on from this place. I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan. The plot against Joseph. They saw him from a distance even before they came close to them. They plotted to kill him. They said to one another, "Look, here comes this dreamer. Now then, come and let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits, a cistern, an underground water storage. Then we will say to our father, a wild animal killed and devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams." Now Reuben the eldest heard this and rescued him from their hands, and said, "Let us not take his life." Reuben said to them, "Do not shed his blood, but instead throw him alive into the pit that is here in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him to kill him." He said this so that he could rescue him from them and return him safely to his father. Now when Joseph reached his brothers, they stripped him of his tunic and distinctive multicolored tunic which he was wearing. They took him and threw him into the pit. Now the pit was empty. There was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat their meal. When they looked up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead east of the Jordan with their camels bearing ladanum, resin for perfume, and balm and myrrh, going on their way to carry the cargo down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What do we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood murder? Come, let us instead sell him to these Ishmaelites and Midianites and not lay our hands on him, because he is our brother and our flesh." So his brothers listened to him and agreed. Then as the Midianite and Ishmaelite traders were passing by, the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit. They sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver, and they took Joseph as a captive into Egypt. Now Reuben, unaware of what happened, returned to the pit, and to his great alarm found that Joseph was not in the pit, so he tore his clothes in deep sorrow. He rejoined his brothers and said, "The boy is not there. As for me, where shall I go to hide from my father?" Then they took Joseph's tunic, slaughtered a male goat, and dipped the tunic in the blood. And they brought the multicolored tunic to their father, saying, "We have found this. Please examine it and decide whether or not it is your son's tunic." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's tunic. A wild animal has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt torn in pieces." So Jacob tore his clothes in grief and put on a sackcloth and mourned many days for his son. Then all his sons and daughters attempted to console him, but he refused to be comforted, and said, "I will go down to Sheol, the place of the dead, in mourning for my son." And his father wept for him. Meanwhile in Egypt the Midianites sold Joseph as a slave to Potiphar, an officer of a Pharaoh and the captain of the royal guard. Judah and Tamar. Now at the time Judah left his brothers and went down to stay with a certain Adullamite named Hira. There Judah saw a daughter of Shua, a Canaanite, and he took her as his wife and lived with her. So she conceived and gave birth to a son, and Judah named him Then she conceived again and gave birth to a son, and named him Onan. And again she conceived and gave birth to another son, and named him Shelah. It was at Chezib that she gave birth to him. Now Judah took a wife for his firstborn. Her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord killed him in judgment. Then Judah told Onan, "Go into your brother's widow and perform your duty as a brother-in-law under the Levite marriage custom. Be her husband and raise children for the name of your brother." Onan knew that the children would not be his, but his dead brother's. So whenever he lay with his brother's widow, he spilled his seed on the ground to prevent conception, so that he would not give a child to his brother. But what he did was displeasing in the sight of the Lord. Therefore he killed him also in judgment. Then Judah said Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at your father's house until Shelah my youngest son is grown. But he was deceiving her, for he thought that if Shelah should marry her, he too might die like his brothers did. So Tamar went and lived in her father's house. But quite a while later, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died, and when the time of mourning was ended, he went up to sheep shearers at Timnah with his friend Hira and Adullamite. Tamar was told, "Listen, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep." So she removed her widow's clothes, and covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself up in disguise, and sat in the gateway of Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah, for she saw that Shelah had grown up, and she had not been given to him as a wife, as Judah had promised. Alright, we'll go ahead and stop right there, and we'll begin at 15. Don't forget your daily devotions. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The miracles that he was able to accomplish many years ago in this book, he can do again today. For I declare healing and blessing and prosperity and protection over you. In Jesus' name, amen.